Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Cut the Clutter is back to Corona now because we have some interesting highlights and some encouraging highlights. Because remember, we keep talking about this concept of R naught, R0 called R naught. It's a scientific statistical concept which denotes the infectivity or infectiousness of a virus. R1 means a person who's infected can infect one more person. R10 would mean person infected can infect 10 more people. So the higher the R naught, the more the infectivity. And the higher the R naught, the faster an epidemic spreads. So the way to control an epidemic, a viral epidemic in particular, is to reduce this R naught in your population. So we had talked earlier about how this had gone up to, this had started with 1.7, had gone up to 4 or estimated at 4 on May 23 when the lockdown came, then came down to 1.7, 1.8 was in that ballpark. Our last count was 1.55. So today, one of the scientists involved in this calculation at Institute of Mathematical Studies in Chennai told our science correspondent Mohana Basu that it has now come down to 1.36, which means one, that there is a decline, second, that it's a consistent decline. So the lockdown is working. Also remember, once it goes below 1, then it cannot spread very much. Then you will only get episodic or anecdotal or in pockets infections. So there is a big distance to travel between 1.36 and 1, but you can see that the graph is headed in a virtuous, happy direction. We are now flattening the curve, and that is also very evident from the daily numbers that are coming out, although the number of tests are going up. Behind all this is one big fact, and that is the fact that brings you the big if as well. And that big fact is that the country is in a completely draconian and total lockdown with all the economic and other costs that it brings in, also a lot of personal misery, particularly for the poor. But the reward of that big lockdown is that this infection rate, the curve has been flattened, R naught is down. And the if then is what happens when you begin to lift it. As we know, this week, beginning this week from Monday, some very selected areas were opened up. So we have to see over the next 3, 4, 5 days how does it go and whether it gives encouragement to those managing this to gradually open up more things, maybe on a week by week basis. So that space we have to watch. Now, because this is the context, I am also talking a little bit about something that I read today. I read up a lot. I am a journalist because I'm curious. To be a journalist, you have to be curious. And the day you cease to be curious, you become a potted plant. You start to vegetate. So I'm curious. I read. I watch everything about Corona that I can because it's such an important story in our lives. I do wish I was younger and I could go out reporting as much as some of our young reporters do. And please do follow their work. We have pairs of reporters and camera people in Madhya Pradesh, that is Sonia Agrawal and Angana Chakravarti, in Rajasthan, that is Simran Surur and Praveen Jain, who have now reached Gujarat, also in Punjab, Taran Deol and Urjita Bhardwaj. So watch their coverage. But since I am not quite there, I read up for you. So one of the most interesting things that I have read in the last couple of days, in fact in the last many days, is an article in today's Financial Express by Dr. Srinath Reddy. Please read that article. I'm giving you a link with the description of this Cut the Clutter. So Dr. Srinath Reddy is quite an eminent person, quite an authority in public health. He's not only the president of Public Health Foundation of India, he used to be the head of cardiology at All India Institute of Medical Sciences. He was a professor of cardiology there. He's been a physician to prime ministers. He has also now worked for a long time in public health. A big opinion leader. Today, he is also a member of one of the prime ministers, one of the government's committees looking at COVID control in India. He's also a member of the executive group of International Steering Committee of WHO's COVID Solidarity Trial. So a very eminent doctor in public health. So in his article, he says he's taken on the, I would say, popular wisdom, widely accepted popular wisdom, which came from WHO, which started with WHO Director General's statement very early on: test, test, test. Do three things: test, test, test. The only way to fight this is test, 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 identify, track, isolate. In fact, WHO DG again said this yesterday: the lockdowns will not work. You have to test, you have to track, trace, and isolate. Just lockdowns will not do. So Dr. Reddy is taking on the logic of test, test, test. And he says this simply doesn't work like that. And he says, look at what testing shows you. Just because you test more doesn't mean you will save more lives. And just because you test less doesn't mean you will lose more lives. And he gives you a stark example. He gives you the example of Bolivia, two nations very far apart, Bolivia in Southern America, and Belgium, the heart of Europe. And he says Bolivia has conducted tests which are about 2.4% of all the tests conducted by Belgium, 2.44%, which means if Belgium has conducted 1,000 tests, Bolivia has conducted 24 tests, that little. And yet he says that Bolivia has only 31 deaths, just 31 deaths, whereas Belgium has had 5,143 deaths. That's when he wrote the article. I'm sure by this time it must be close to 6,000. So how come you have this difference while one country tests less than almost 1/50th of the other one, is almost conducting one test for 50. Bolivia conducts one test against Belgium's 50, and yet has just 31 deaths, and Belgium has 6,000 deaths, which means 200 times the deaths. So how do you explain this? So he says that many things feature. Climate can feature, ethnicity can feature, local factors, and there are many health issues. So just because you test more doesn't mean you will save more lives. And remember, I know that the question immediately on your mind will be, and some of you might reach out for Google, that maybe Bolivia is a tiny country and Belgium is a much bigger country. No, Dr. Reddy knows what he's talking about. Both countries have about the same population, 1.16 crores, almost exactly the same population. So if you apply that logic, then test, test, test just looks like a mantra. It cannot be applied equally to everybody. So he says that you need context. Whatever strategy you want, for that strategy you need context. As I said, it can't be a mantra, just applies to everybody. So it can't be one size fits all. And he tells you that what happens when dramatic increase in testing takes place. Once again, you might be testing a lot more in a population like India. You will never have enough tests. You will not have enough regions. You will not have enough people. So you have to have a strategy to testing. A population-wide testing, he says, is neither advisable nor feasible. So right now, he supports the ICMR approach to testing, which is test high-risk people or test symptomatic people. Because he says that testing is not the only way of figuring out how the disease is progressing. He says there are methods of what is called as syndrome surveillance. So syndrome surveillance is when you go door to door in hotspots and check people for influenza-like symptoms. Influenza-like symptoms can be quite broad. It can even be somebody sniffling a little, as I sometimes might do because of the allergy season with so much pollen flying in the air. But once you have checked people for influenza-like symptoms, fevers, colds, chest congestion or chest problems, or in fact, we just heard from Mumbai Municipal Commissioner that in slums, they are even checking people with a history of chronic diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or hypertension for oxygen supply in their blood. It can be done quite simply these days. So then only you get to know if there are indications of more trouble, or you do hospital surveillance, which means you go hospital to hospital and get data from there to see whether demand for beds has gone up for SARI. We keep talking about this, that is severe acute respiratory infection. So if you find demand for beds for SARI, for pneumonia patients is not going up, if you find that your syndrome surveillance, door-to-door surveillance and hotspots is not showing up an inordinate number of cases, then that combined with limited testing of symptomatic cases or high risk cases or highly probable cases is a very good policy. He also says that look, even now you haven't seen any rate of death which goes anywhere close to even a fraction I'm adding, even a fraction of the alarmist models that have been predicted by many people who went around giving many interviews to many people in India, getting headlines predicting the doom for India. So he says, be calm, think, and in fact, I like the expression he uses. He says that we are now caught between those who are nihilistic. I have heard that expression after a long time. Used to be very fashionable when I was in college. Nihilistic is when you don't believe in anything that normally governs your life, almost like destructive, self-destructive, whatever. People who are nihilistic, who say, listen, you can't stop it, let this wash through your population. जो मरेगा मरेगा, बाकी सब बच जाएंगे, majority will survive, and once you survive, those that survive will have herd immunity. In fact, in America also some people, I was reading about a paper that somebody wrote, a fairly qualified person who wrote a paper saying let it wash through the population and hold the equivalent of what used to be chickenpox parties in the past, which means if one person has chickenpox, he calls all his friends that come to my house, all of you get infected. So at least you know when you are getting infected, otherwise you might get infected at a crucial moment, you have gone out overseas traveling, or you are preparing for your exam, so might as well isko abhi kara lo. So no journal agreed to publish a paper. It's now been published in a shady journal there. Who says the same thing? So that is the nihilistic approach. That jane do, let us see survival of the fittest. The other, he says, is the alarmist approach. That we are caught between a nihilist approach and an alarmist approach. And the alarmist approach is that look, if even when you lift the lockdown, this will again spread. And when it spreads, your system will collapse anyway because India's health system is not good enough. So in which case, what's the point of a lockdown? So he says one lot is nihilistic, one lot is alarmist, and yet funnily they both suggest the same thing, which is that lockdown is not needed and test, test, test. The other flaw he finds with this test, test, test mantra is that the tests are not perfect anywhere. He says if tests were perfect, how come South Koreans are now reporting that 190 people who had earlier cleared their tests are now testing positive? Or in China, he's quoting research to show that 14.5%, that is 1 out of 7 almost, of young people who had earlier cleared their tests, who were cured, after 14 days are again testing negative. And he says we don't know what is it. Is it reinfection? Is it reactivated virus, or is it false positive? Similarly, he says that if you test everybody, you might get false positives, you might get false negatives, and that will cause a great deal of confusion. So it's best, particularly for a country like India, to focus itself strategically on testing those who need and deserve to be tested. In fact, he again gives you the example of Kerala. He says Kerala is testing less than Delhi and much less than US and Europe, and yet Kerala is doing so much better. So they have to be other factors. So just as you have Bolivia and Belgium, you have Kerala and Delhi and Kerala and US and Italy and Spain. So it is not just tests that matter. In fact, if you look at some other data, which I just got from a presentation from the Commissioner of Mumbai Municipal Corporation, that is quite educative about India as well. If you look at the states of India, then Tamil Nadu, 1224 per million. I'm giving you the rate of different states. Rajasthan, 755 per million. Delhi is supposedly quite healthy, but only 601 per million. Mumbai, on the other hand, is 3,561 per million. So Bombay has carried out a very large number of tests. In fact, 50,000 tests, which at this moment is about, out of India's total tests of about 4.5 lakhs, more than 10% of all of India. And yet the positivity rate, infection rate, etc. isn't that different. In fact, the state that has carried out really a poor percentage of tests per million, I have to mention that, is Gujarat, only 428. Gujarat is below Rajasthan, below Kerala, which is 577, below Delhi, which is 601. And then you have comparisons of the kind that are again floating in the air. For example, South Africa has 1934 but per million, but India has 290. So if India had tested as much as South Africa, India would have done much better. But remember, South Africa has done 1934 per million for about 5 crore people. Mumbai has done more than 1.5 times as much, at 3561 per million for about 2 crore people. So once again, the number of tests itself doesn't determine where you're going to get, where you're going to reach. You have to do this intelligently, strategically, sensibly. And I like the line that Dr. Reddy uses. It's a beautifully written line. He says, fancy decontextualized models, whether in fashion or epidemiology. Fancy decontextualized models, whether in fashion or epidemiology, may walk well on the ramp, but do not walk well in the real world. कई बार होता है ना, you see models on the ramp wearing these really funny clothes. I mean, at least kind of clothes or dresses or fashion that you say, it looks nice on the ramp, but can I imagine seeing somebody wearing this stuff in real life? Remember, people wear funny things in their hair and do odd things. So he said those things look nice on a ramp, which means some of these ideas, test, etc., mantras, look nice in this kind of debate, but they do not walk well in real life, just like those models which are decontextualized. So the important thing is to remember context. Context is the most important thing.